coming in on port. Now, typically, nobody recommends coming into the weather mark on port. If there aren't a lot of boats in the race, and you've been playing the shifts up, and you have found a nice port tack lift coming in to the weather mark, you might want to take a chance with it. But realize you've got some issues, which we will talk about when you're coming in on port. If you're in a big fleet, if you're in the IOM, depends on how many boats you have. Let's say 95. You got 14, 15, 16 boats on the line. Believe me, if there are boats coming in on port here, you're going to have boats coming in on starboard over here. Between port and starboard, who's got the right of way? Of course, starboard boats. But here's a situation that happened in one of the races maybe a month or two ago, and these boats said, "Oh, you know what? We've got a nice lift. We're on port. We're going to come in." All right. So let's look at what the rules are here. Here's our normal wind. These guys are coming in on port. Red's a little bit behind. He's coming in on port also. So first off, who between right away, between blue and white, which of the two boats is the right away boat?
Where's the circle?
They entered the circle as.
I mean, to me it looks like 4 boats, but you don't have the rope up there, so I don't know.
But
that's a very
let's
good
just
point.
assume they.
I'm glad you said that. But I'm going to tell you. Okay, we're going to talk about this. Okay, so they break the 4 boat length circle here, and it doesn't matter whether it looks like that when he touches it. It doesn't matter whether it looks like that when he touches it. You take the snapshot. In any case, white is the inside boat. I'm going to take this to port. Everybody good with that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So these boats move in, and they're pretty happy. You know what? There's a couple of starboard tackers, but they're way down there. So these guys said, "Okay, got my nice port tack lift. I'm coming in." Blue, of course, has to give white inside room. Now, if white just wants to kind of keep sailing on, who gets to kind of figure out when we're going to tack here?
White.
White. Now, can blue head up as long as he's giving room to white? Can blue head up?
Into irons.
As long as he doesn't go past head to wind. Because once he goes past the head to wind, he's now a tacking boat and must stay clear of other boats that are on attack, like white. So here we go. White says, "Okay, I can clear it. That's just fine." Blue tacks, and he may decide he's going to follow him. He may stay a little bit to weather. All that's fine. But what I want to do is back up a little bit here, because one of the reasons that we talk about the rules is to get us thinking ahead to situations that will present some challenges. Here's red coming in. Red kind of overstood. Red's got great speed. He's reaching down just a little bit and coming in here. Red was clear astern, so he's got no rights with these guys. He's not asking for inside room or anything like that. Does anybody see, and I asked this question before, but I'm going to ask it again. Does anybody see an issue developing here as these boats come into the weather mark?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the issue you see?
Red's hot and he's coming in and he's going to try to dive inside of all of them around the mark, and he doesn't have any rights.
That's it.
Maybe, or does red have him pinned?
Well,
What was your question,
having
Tim?
pinned, no.
So, I mean, to where they can't tack without...
Well, now I would, I've got it a
It's
little
the same
close.
situation that you had
You make a
before.
you make a good point. The question really is, can white, when he gets up here, can white tack without fouling or tacking too close to the red? That's the question. Let's assume that white has the room to do that.
Then red is screwed.
Not really.
Well,
I mean, he's gonna have to duck.
let's play it out here. So here we go. Now, what do you think is going to
red
happen?
has
These
no-
boats
Red is
come
Karam,
in.
right?
White's going to come in. Blue's going to come in. Red's going to come in. White gets up here and he says it's time to tack. Blue says, "Oh yeah, I'm going to tack right behind you. We're sharing." Here comes red. white gets around and now on a close hauled course. What's significant about white being on a close hauled course on starboard?
He has
Nothing
all
right
rights.
now.
No, that's not quite right. You're tacking from the time you pass head to wind until you were on a close hauled course. From the time you were on a close hauled course, and when I said white has just gotten to its close hauled course, you now have obtained your starboard tack rights.
Right.
Nothing before. Once you're on a close hauled course, you've obtained your starboard tack rights. And only at that point does red have to begin to stay clear. There's no requirement for red to anticipate what's going on. White's finished his tack.
Because up till then, he was within the 4 boat length circle inside. Is that what you're saying?
Red was never inside. He was not.
It doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
right.
though.
He doesn't have any rights, and that's what we're talking about.
I'm with you.
But now he has no
These
rights.
boats
Now I
have,
get some pin.
these boats have finished their tack.
All they can do is
They're
tap.
on starboard. They're close hauled. They're going to go around the mark. And red's coming in here with this boatload of speed on port. Does red have any rights whatsoever?
The only right he has is to duck them both.
Dug them both.
That's not really a right, but
That's his only option.
That's his option. And oh, by the way, by the time these guys get here, those starboard tackers that were not quite on the list are now having a nice parade of lights coming up. And red, at that point, puts his spinnaker up and starts heading down to get in line.
Somebody says no room, 21. Enjoy yourself.
No room. So,
Clear
so
around the end of the fleet.
the takeaway here is, if you're coming in on port, realize that you're going to be taking some chances, and that may be okay, but be thinking ahead. At this point, red should see exactly what's going to happen. That's the thought. And at that point, he might want to start reaching down. Hopefully there aren't too many boats, but he can find a hole to come in. But he's got no way to do anything in here. And as a matter of fact, if he gets here and finds that he's hooked, that is, he can't go down. What's his next move?
Jack.
Tack
Going
away.
Tack.
straight.
Well, tack.
Tack! Tack! Believe me, by that time, these guys are
He must
halfway
have been
off on
white.
the offset mark over here. So the message is, think about the rules. They're going to apply when you get to the mark, and plan ahead.
May I, sir?
Oh, yeah.
You could also go off and then duck.
Assuming that we're
It's
going
probably
through the
gonna save
process like you
time
just
to do
said,
that.
and you got to a point where white has significantly pushed blue aside enough that red can sneak there.
Yeah, okay.
Absolutely.
That
Or you
happens
can
all
go
the time.
between the two.
It does. You know what? There are two areas where a lot of things are happening. At the beginning, at the start line, of course, and at the weather mark. Because at the start line, everybody's together. And when you get to the weather mark, everybody that's been spread out across the pond winds up at that mark. So let's talk.
Can,
so let's
can
talk
blue
about
protest
That,
him?
though.
This is really a two-boat question.
Right.
So here we go.
You can
Here's the
come down and
situation.
shut them off from doing it.
No, the two boats are the red and the blue, not the white and the blue, right?
It doesn't matter what color they are. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have picked red, but because red usually is a boat with a bonus. Here are two boats coming into the weather mark. This mark is going to get taken to port and head off to the offset mark. Two boats coming in. And White's asking himself, if I'm White, I'm asking myself, can I tack and clear blue? Or do I need to be ducking blue? And we assume that these are the only two boats. The rest of the boats are not involved. It gets more complicated when you add more boats. We'll keep it simple here. So they're coming in, and let's try to make this a little cleaner and a little easier for starters. Here we go. EF95, IOM, Soling 50, Odom. I think this is about the same for any of those boats. White's on close hold and he's coming in. Blue's on close hold, starboard coming in. Do you think White can tack and get around the mark? Okay. Without interfering with blue.
At any point coming in, I'm a new guy.
What's that?
That's okay. We're all new at some point.
I think you can do it.
We're all new at some point.
But are they overlap when they
It
intersect?
doesn't.
they're
It
always
doesn't have to do with
At
overlap.
that angle, he's probably.
It doesn't have to do with overlap.
Starboard.
This is a port and starboard situation. So let's talk about tacking. And it doesn't matter whether there's a mark here or not. Actually, we're going to just talk about two boats that are working up the pond. Okay, so here's our two boats. They're starting to close. Starboard tack boat, blue, has right of way over the port tack boat, white. Everybody good with that, right? Fundamental rule. And white says, you know what? I like going over to the south shore over here. I like what blue's doing. I don't want to duck him and get to the other side, to the north side of the pond. I'm gonna tack. So let's talk about this. Right away boat, white has to stay clear. So white says, oh, I'm gonna tack. And he doesn't have to say this, by the way, but he's saying to himself he's gonna tack. Okay, white has to stay clear of blue. White has to stay clear of blue. Now white is now at head to wind, and he's now in the process of tacking. And tell me when his tack finishes.
Right now.
Right now.
When he is on a close hauled course going to weather on starboard tack. You are tacking from the time you go head to wind until you are on a close hauled course. Whether that be going to port, going to starboard, on a close hauled course. White's now on a close hauled course. And white slowed down a little bit because he tacked. Blue's still chugging on here. White has now finished his tack. So he's completed his tack. Both